There's a gym near my house that's empty 11 months of the year. Every January, it's packed. By February 14th, Valentine's Day, it's a ghost town again. Not because people are lazy, not because they lack discipline, but because they signed up for a workout plan designed by someone who doesn't exist. Someone who wakes up excited to do burpees at 5 a.m. YouTube goals work the same way. You set your 2026 upload schedule in January. January, you was motivated, energized, ready to upload twice a week, finally nail consistency, maybe even launch that second channel. But January, you doesn't live in February. And February, you tired, unmotivated, wondering why you even started this channel. That's who has to execute the plan. Here's the problem. Your 2026 goals were written by someone who won't exist in 6 weeks. You've done this before, set the goal, felt the rush, told yourself this year would be different. Then reality hit. Maybe it was February, maybe March. But somewhere between New Year's energy and spring burnout, the plan fell apart. And here's what makes it worse. You blamed yourself. I just need more discipline. Other creators can do it, why can't I? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But the pattern keeps repeating. Every year, the same cycle. Ambitious January goals, slow February decline, complete collapse by summer. And each time it happens, it doesn't just kill your upload schedule, it kills your trust in your own commitments. You start to see yourself as unreliable, as someone who talks big but can't follow through. The real cost isn't missed uploads. It's the identity shift from I'm building something to I'm the person who always quits. And that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because if you can't trust yourself to keep basic commitments, why start the next project? Why set the next goal? So what's really going on here? Here's what nobody tells you. Your 2026 goals are designed to fail, not because you lack discipline, not because you're weak, but because they were written by someone who doesn't exist in February. January, you is optimistic, well-rested, excited about the channel. January, you thinks every week will feel like this. January, you sets goals based on peak motivation, maximum energy, perfect circumstances. February, you is exhausted, burned out on the niche, dealing with life, work stress, relationship issues, the winter slump. February, you is operating at maybe 40% of January's capacity. And February, you was supposed to execute a plan built for 100%. That's not a discipline problem. That's a design problem. The most sustainable creators I know don't have better willpower. They don't magically stay motivated year-round. They've just learned to plan for their lowest energy state, not their highest. They build systems that work in February. And those systems create results that last past Valentine's Day. Once you see this, everything changes. Because the question isn't, how do I stay motivated? It's, how do I build a system that works when I'm not motivated? That's the shift, and that's what we're solving today. Here's the framework. The February proof system. 3 steps that let you plan for reality instead of fantasy. Step 1. Audit your actual February capacity. Stop planning based on what you think you should be able to do. Start with what you can actually sustain when life gets hard. Ask yourself, in the last 12 months, what was your lowest energy month? Maybe it was February. Maybe it was August. But there was a month where everything felt harder. Now ask, what could you have sustained that month without white-knuckling through caffeine and guilt? That's your floor. That's the capacity you plan for, not aspirational January energy, not if everything goes perfectly. Energy, real, sustainable February capacity. Here's what this looks like in practice. If your lowest energy month, you could have uploaded once every 2 weeks without hating your life. That's your baseline system. Everything else is bonus. January. You might upload twice a week, great. But the system only requires 1 video every 14 days. Step 2. Design floor goals versus ceiling goals. Your floor goal is the minimum viable consistency. It's what you commit to even when everything is falling apart. Your ceiling goal is what you do when energy is high. Most creators only set ceiling goals. I'm going to upload 3 times a week. That works in January. It collapses in February. Because when you inevitably can't hit 3 uploads, you feel like a failure, so you quit entirely. Floor goals create a different dynamic. Your floor might be 1 upload every 2 weeks. Your ceiling might be 2 per week. On high energy weeks, you hit the ceiling. On low energy weeks, you hit the floor. But you never drop below the floor. That's the commitment. And here's the key. You celebrate hitting the floor because the floor is designed for your worst case scenario. Hitting it means the system is working. Step 3, build systems that work at 40% energy. This is where most creators get it wrong. They build workflows that require 100% energy. Complicated editing, extensive research, high production thumbnails, and when energy drops, the whole system breaks. Instead, ask, what's the simplest version of this that still delivers value? Maybe it's batch recording 4 videos in 1 high energy day, so low energy weeks are just editing and uploading. Maybe it's using a template-based thumbnail system, so you're not starting from scratch each time. Maybe it's shorter videos that require less editing. The goal isn't to make everything easy. It's to make everything possible at 40% capacity. Because February, you is operating at 40%. And if the system only works at 100%, the system fails. Let me show you how this played out for me. I used to run 4 channels simultaneously, 4 different niches, 4 different upload schedules, and every January, I'd set ambitious goals for all of them. By March, 3 of them were dead. I'd stop uploading. Blame myself. Start over next January with the same pattern. But 1 channel survived not because the content was better, not because the niche was easier, but because I'd accidentally designed a February-proof system for that channel. I'd batch recorded a month of videos in 1 day, used a simple thumbnail template, set a floor goal of 1 upload per week, even if it was short. That channel kept going through February, through summer burnout, through the chaos of moving cities, because the system was designed for my lowest capacity, not my highest. The other 3, they were designed for January me, and January me doesn't exist in July. Here's the lesson. Consistency at low capacity beats intensity at high capacity every time. The creators still uploading in August aren't more disciplined. They just planned for February. Remember the empty gym? The workout plans abandoned by Valentine's Day? That's not a people problem. That's a planning problem. They designed systems for someone who doesn't exist outside of January. Your 2026 YouTube goals are the same. If they assume you'll always feel motivated, always have energy, always be excited about your niche, they're designed to fail, not because you're weak, but because you're planning for the wrong version of yourself. January. You is a liar. January, you means well. But January, you doesn't live in February, and February is where goals die or survive based on the system you built. So here's what I want you to do. Take 1 2026 goal, your upload schedule, your growth target, whatever, and rewrite it assuming 40% energy. Not what you should be able to do, what you can actually sustain when life gets hard. That's your floor. Build the system around that. And when January energy shows up again, great, over-deliver. But the system doesn't require it. The system works at 40% because February, you is operating at 40%. And February, you is the one who has to execute. The creators still uploading in August aren't more disciplined. They just planned for February. You know how to plan for February now. But here's what most creators miss while setting goals. The crash isn't about discipline. It's about identity. The moment you realize you're not who you thought you were, that's already happening. You're just calling it lack of motivation. Why goal failure destroys self-trust. That breakdown's on screen.